Okay. So, before Harmonix released Guitar Hero and Rock Band, their two most famous games, they released two quirky music games before that, Frequency and its sequel Amplitude. These games sort of led the foundation for how all of their other music games would follow. If you play them, they're very similar. So in 2016, Amplitude got a reboot thanks to a successful Kickstarter campaign. And the gameplay is similar enough that it's not really worth talking about for the purposes of this talk. It's not what I'm here to cover. Instead, I wanted to talk about the evolution of narrative throughout these three games and how it led to one of the most surprising game stories I've ever played. So in the first game, Frequency, it's implied that the player is a cyberpunk DJ mixing music in VR. This is suggested through the intro cinematic of the game, its art style, and tutorial VO. The sequel, Amplitude, on the other hand, seems to forego any kind of story entirely, as best as you could piece out just through, what little you see in the game. The story premise is that you're flying a spaceship through a city made of music, maybe, ? They really don't make it any clear at all. And definitely story was not a focus for that game. But playing the reboot, you can tell that there is some kind of story, although it's initially very mysterious and not clear. Each level of the campaign mode starts with snippets of dialogue between three different characters, much of which is in medical jargon. And the game ends with this sort of cutscene here, the big scene you see there with the woman's face. You see her eyes open and glow mysteriously, as you can see, and that's just the end of that cutscene. Now, I should also note that none of the other games of the series had enough of a story to even justify an ending cutscene. There was no end to their story. So this was already a mysterious element. And then also one other detail is the art style of the game is slightly different from the original Amplitude. It's still abstract, but has this kind of organic quality to everything, where everything looks like it's like slightly alive or part of a living thing. So the dev team also publicly made it known that one of their decisions for the reboot was to make the game a playable concept album. Unlike Frequency in the original Amplitude, which featured popular licensed music that players might already know and be familiar with, the campaign mode of the new reboot features an entirely original score, all custom-made for the game. Again, it's designed to be a playable concept album. This means that they made all new song lyrics just for the game. And having original song lyrics gave them the unique opportunity to tell the story, rather the bulk of the story, using song lyrics. So yes, admittedly, there are the few little dialogue snippets before each level, but by far, most of the game is told through song lyrics. By hiding the story in song lyrics is actually even sneakier of a technique than you might think, given how the gameplay of the game works. To even hear the song lyrics at all, you must be playing optimally and take specific routes through the level. This usually means that the story needs to be pieced together over time, like a puzzle, over multiple playthroughs, as you're only getting bits of the words at a time. So, what do you get when you actually piece together all of the puzzle pieces and find what the story is? Well, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but this music game that looks like this, believe it or not, is actually a queer romance opera about brain surgery. Yep, exactly as you would expect from seeing that screenshot, right? But yeah, it even passes the Bechdel test. Cool. So my point about all this is this unassuming music game that you wouldn't even expect to have a story at all based off of its gameplay and what it looks like ended up having one of the most actually surprisingly well-done stories I've ever seen in a game, just because of its unique approach to narrative design, nesting the story inside song lyrics and giving you just enough of dialogue to know that there is something hidden in there, hidden deeper. Yeah, that's my talk. Thank you.